Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup that I'm thankful for. Now this is my third year doing this video since I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Here in the US, Thanksgiving always lands on a Thursday, so this is my third annual makeup I'm thankful for video, which I personally really enjoy. I think it's a fun way to create a makeup video while still practicing gratitude, and even though there's a lot more important things we can be grateful for, I do like to kind of incorporate reasons why I am thankful for certain products. So I have my entire lineup in front of me. We're just gonna get right into it. I already filled in my brows off camera, and I had to mention the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil because this has been with me through thick and thin, and it's just so reliable, which is why I chose it as my brow pencil that I'm thankful for. I'm just making sure they're shaped the way I want them to be. I might touch them up later, but that's good enough for now. You guys know how much I love this brow product. Next up, I'm going to be using the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, which is another thing that I'm really grateful for because I feel like it makes my eyeshadow apply so much easier. And I used to be the girl who would apply concealer and then set my eyelids with powder before I went into my eyeshadow. But after discovering this product, I feel like it's a one and done situation and I don't need to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend this out with a fluffy brush. And it also kind of acts like a concealer since this one is tinted. I prefer the tinted one over the clear one just because I do have discoloration on my eyelids. This one is in the shade Light if you're wondering, but I'm just going to buff this out all over the eyelids. Before we get too far in the video, you guys, I keep forgetting to mention this in a video, but I feel like it's actually perfect for this one. I wanted to say thank you for 700,000 subscribers. When I saw that number, I honestly couldn't believe it. I've been doing this for, I think, 4 years now, and it's been the best thing I've ever done. I love creating videos for you guys, and the fact that we're at 700,000 subscribers just makes me so happy. I can't believe how many people that is. Like, I was thinking about the reality of that number, and it actually like shocked me to think about how many people that is. Like, it's amazing how many of you guys tune into my videos 3 times a week and support me here, and we've created just the best community. I'm so grateful for you guys. So, you know, in honor of Thanksgiving, I wanted to tell you guys that I'm thankful for you. Let's move on to eyeshadow really quickly. I was about to choose a neutral eyeshadow palette that I've talked about quite a few times, but then I came across this one and I thought this would be really fun to use in this video. And the reason why I chose it as something that I'm thankful for is because I feel like it's something that I've added more recently to my collection, but it really inspires me. The colors, the tones, the textures, it just really takes me out of my comfort zone in a comfortable way. This is the new Pat McGrath Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette. This is their holiday palette, and it's just so beautiful. So I wanted to use this. I felt like also I could incorporate a lot of different Thanksgiving-y type tones from this palette, so that's what we're going to use today. I'm going to start off by taking this shade right here, which is called Venusian Orchid, and I'm just going to take the tiniest bit of this shade on a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to start working this into the crease and a little bit above as my transition. I'm just going to keep buffing back and forth just so that I can kind of keep this color a little more sheer. I'm wanting to go in with some of like the greens and golds, I think, today, so I don't want this to be too harshly pink in the transition area, but I didn't want to use this matte shade either because I felt like it would be too deep to start out with, so I'm just trying to use like a little bit of the pink shade to create that transition. I can't figure out if I want to do more green or more like yellow, gold, and bronze. I feel like I just did kind of a green look using the ColourPop Raw Beauty Christie palette. So maybe I'll go more actual like bronze today. So I'm going to take this shade right here. This is called Bronze. And I'm going to take that on my finger. And I'm wanting this to be my main eyelid color. So I'm just going to start literally taking that and pressing it all over the lid. I'm going to create more depth in just a minute. But first I just kind of want to lay down that color all over the eye. I'm not going to be too concerned about the edges quite yet either. I'm just wanting to lay that down. Okay, now I'm going to go back into the brush we were just using, and I'm going to kind of go through the crease and just make sure those edges are blended. Okay, next up I'm going to take this really cool shade at the bottom. This is called Corruption. It's like a rusty red, but it has a little bit of a shift to it, which is really, really amazing. So I'm going to take this on a smaller brush, and I'm going to start to create that depth on the outer portion of the lid. blending it into that bronze shade that we just applied. I'm also going to take that and apply it on the inner portions to create a little bit of a halo eye effect. Going back in with that fluffy brush we started out with, and I'm just making sure the edges are blended. Next, I'm going to dip into this matte shade. This is called Major Mahogany, and I'm wanting to just create a little more depth with this matte on the outer third of that top lid, kind of creating that V shape along the lash line, out toward the edge of the brow a little bit, in that direction, and then sweeping it into the crease slightly too. Again, I'm taking that fluffy brush and just blending things out. I'm not too worried about the edges here. I'm going to clean that up in just a moment. I'm going to take a little bit of that matte shade as well and apply it in the inner corner just to intensify the halo eye effect. Okay, now that we have a little bit more structure, I'm actually going to take that same brush. I probably should be using a different one, but oh well. And I'm dipping into the bright yellow gold shade right here. This is called Gold Standard. And I'm going to take this and apply it right in the center of the eyelid. This is such a cool color. Same thing over on this eye. I'm also going to take a little bit of what's left on that brush, and I'm going to apply that gold shade in this inner portion as well. And then back to that brush we first used in the beginning, I'm just going to gently take that through the crease one more time to make sure it's all nice and softened. I'm wanting to intensify that duochrome shade we had applied, so I'm just taking a small brush and putting a little bit more of that on the sides of the gold. Okay, I'm actually dipping my brush into a little bit more of that kind of pink transition shade we used, and I feel like I could use a little bit more color above the shimmer shades, so I'm just lightly adding a little more. I'm just going to clean up the edges with a makeup wipe. And then I always like to take my fingertip and just press the edges down after using a wipe so it's not so harsh. Okay, I'm actually going to apply Top Lash Mascara. I wanted to use the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. I am thankful for this because it's a drugstore formula. It's really buildable, and you guys are actually the ones who put me onto this in the first place. I love that it has just that super buildable formula, but if you want to, you can also keep it pretty natural. And I also love that it doesn't smudge or flake on me. It's a really gorgeous mascara. So I'm gonna layer this up quite a bit on just my top lashes for now. Okay, let's move on to complexion. The primer that I chose, because I'm thankful for it, is this one right here. It's a little bit newer to my collection as well, but this is the Thrive Cosmetics Brilliant Face Brightener Primer. It's an illuminating primer, and the thing I really love about this is it's lightweight, but I really do feel like it helps with the longevity of my makeup, and I love like the skincare benefits in this as well. And the glow that it gives is not unnatural. You're not gonna get like glitter in it, which I really appreciate. It's genuinely a lit from within type of a sheen. And it just feels really nice on the skin. So I'm just gonna use my hands to apply this all over, and it actually does say on the back of the bottle to wait 30 seconds before applying foundation. So I usually just kind of like to continue to work it into the skin until I feel like it's really sinking into the skin, which is usually about 30 seconds. While we wait for that to sink in fully, the foundation that I knew I was going to use this year is the Oma Beauty Say What foundation. This foundation is so beautiful. It wears so well on me. I love it so much. I have the shade Fair Lady T2N. I bought this shade online. It works for me. They have such huge shade range though that I could probably find something that's even closer of a match, but honestly this one works just fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and pump some of that on the back of my hand. Then I'm going to take a foundation brush and just start to blend this out all over the skin. I love the coverage that this gives. It has a really nice buildable coverage. So if you wanted to sheer it out, you could. If you wanted more coverage than what you're seeing me get right now, you could build it up even more. It covers up redness. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin. And like I said, the reason why I love it so much is it just wears like a dream on me. It wears for hours and hours and hours and looks so good at the end of the day. I can always count on it, which we all need a foundation like that in our collection, you know? I'm someone who is always trying out new complexion products, but this one is probably one of my most reliable foundations in my whole collection right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and press everything into the skin with my Flower Beauty sponge. We'll see how well I can cover that blemish on the side of my nose. Guys, I'm getting like blemishes in the strangest places, and I'm pretty sure it's from wearing masks all the time, so we're just gonna have to get creative with this one. I love that so much, and I actually love the combo of this foundation over top of that Thrive Cosmetics primer. So for concealer, I wanted to use the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. This one is so beautiful, and I'm thankful for it because it gives me airbrushed, flawless looking skin, and it actually looks amazing in the under eye area, even though it's a little bit more of a thicker formula. I love to use it under the eyes and in the T-zone, and it just smooths out everything. It looks so good in the T-zone. So I'm just taking that on a concealer brush. I like to blend it out a little bit first with a brush, and then once I feel like I kind of have the general shape mapped out, it doesn't have to be perfect, I just go back in with my Flower Beauty sponge, and I'm gonna press that into the skin. Okay, so now that the concealer is blended out, I wanted to use a liquid bronzer that I'm thankful for because this is such an easy product to use and it makes me feel beautiful. I love it. It's the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Glow Bronzer, and I use the shade Faux Tan. I'm just gonna take a pump on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna take this on a Sigma domed buffer brush. Here's what it looks like. It has a really nice thin consistency, which is why it's so foolproof. I'm just gonna start to map this out on my complexion. So starting out under the cheeks and then applying it on the forehead as well. It just blends out so effortlessly, which we all need a product like this in our collection too, that's just easy to use, super reliable, kind of versatile too, in the fact that you can use it on an everyday basis or use it to really sculpt your face for a more glam look. It's just one of my favorite products ever. I'm also gonna use it to sculpt the jaw. I'm gonna blend that down the neck. I'm also taking that down the sides of the nose and underneath the nose. Okay, once I feel like that's pretty blended, I'm gonna actually take my foundation brush and I'm gonna kind of press that around the edges just to make sure that there's no harshness. And I'm gonna really kind of mix what's left on the foundation brush underneath the jaw just to make sure there's no harsh lines there either. And then of course I'm gonna take my sponge and just kind of blend the edges again. Okay, for powder, I wanted to use the Thrive Cosmetics Soft Focus HD Setting Powder. I love this and I'm thankful for it because it really just helps obviously set my makeup, but there's hyaluronic acid in here, so it's very hydrating, which is great. I tend to have dry skin, so I love to use this under the eyes especially, and also it just helps kind of blur out the pores in the T-zone. So I'm going to use this to set the under eyes and the T-zone. I like to use a small brush for this. Then I'm going to take a larger powder brush, and I'm just going to gently press that on the outer portions of the face, just so that it's slightly more set, since I am going to use a powder bronzer as well. I don't want it to skip, so I'm just kind of pressing everything into the skin. And then, as always, I just go over everything again with my sponge really lightly. All right, for my lower lash line, I'm going to dip into this duochrome shade again called Corruption. I'm going to take that on a smaller brush and make sure to tap off the excess and then kind of press the pigment into the brush on the back of my hand so there's not too much fallout. And I'm just going to line the entire lower lash line with this from inner corner all the way to outer corner. Then I'm going to take a small brush and I'm going to dip into that gorgeous yellow gold shade that we used in the center of the lid. And I'm going to do the same thing where I tap off the excess and then press the pigment into the back of my hand just to avoid as much fallout as possible. And I'm going to start to press this on the center of that lower lash line. I'm also going to connect the inner corner with that same golden shade on that lower lash line. And then I'm going to go back into that matte shade. I'm just taking a little bit of this again underneath all those shades to create a little bit of a flow or transition down to the under eye area. But I don't want to lose the intensity of that gold, so I'm going back in with that brush we were using and just making sure I didn't wipe too much of that away. All right, I'm just going to take the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara and I'm going to apply that to the lower lashes. All right, next up I'm going to warm up the complexion with a little bit more bronzer, but this time it's a powder bronzer, and I'm thankful for this one because it's been so consistent for so many years in my makeup routine, and that is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I'm going to take some of this and just kind of further warm up the complexion. Since this is a little bit more of a glam look, I want to make sure my skin looks balanced and warmed up. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that to the outer portions of the face, basically going over where we applied the liquid bronzer. The thing I like about layering that liquid with the powder is that the liquid one has a little bit more of a cool undertone, so it's going to kind of give more structure, where this one from Physicians Formula has a little more warmth. So I do feel like they both work well together, which is nice. So that's why I wanted to use both. All right, I'm actually going to go into highlighter next. The highlight that I'm thankful for is this one right here from Catrice. It's the Catrice Sungasm Face and Body Highlighter. I love this because it's so affordable. This is $10, and I love how it gives me the most beautiful glass-like skin. You don't need very much, which is why I'm kind of being gentle applying this. But this somehow looks better and better the longer you wear it. But again, I just have to be a little bit more gentle because as much as I love glowy skin, I don't like it to be too intense. And this is such an intense formula that it can go there if I'm not careful. So I just kind of gently layer it up. But I mean, you can see the kind of glass skin effect that it gives. And especially when I press my sponge over top, it just melts it into the skin and it looks amazing on camera. It looks amazing in person. I just love this so much. For blush, I am thankful for the Hourglass blushes right now. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Luminous Flush is one that I recently picked up, but I've been really enjoying it. So I wanted to wear it. I'm just gonna take a blush brush and swirl my brush into the pan. Look how pretty it is. It's got that marbling. It's so nice. I love this one. I'm just gonna smile and apply this to the apples of the cheeks. And then again, I'm just kind of pressing it into the skin with my sponge. All right, next up, for lip liner, I wanted to use the Melt Cosmetics All Day Everyday Lip Liner in the shade Foxy. I've talked about this several times on my channel, but the reason why I'm thankful for it is because somehow it looks good with every lipstick. It's got a really nice kind of cool tone shade, but when you apply a lipstick on top, somehow it like morphs into exactly what you need. I've even used this with bright colored lipsticks, and I feel like it really helps just to kind of blend any lipstick shade into the rest of your makeup look and complexion. All right, we're gonna leave the lips like that. For lipstick, I am so thankful for the Maybelline lipstick in the shade Truffle Tease. This just has captured my heart. I mean, for a couple of years now, I've been loving this. I feel like it's the perfect nude. Plus, what's not to love about an affordable lipstick? This is another one of those products that I feel like works with so many lip liners. So while this Melt lip liner works with so many lipsticks, I feel like this lipstick works with so many lip liners. You can really just kind of create a custom shade almost because it's such a good, just basic taupey nude. It really can help brighten up the center of the lips if that's what you need, or you can mix it into like a more pink and it's gonna turn it more beige. It's just a great lipstick to own. I love it. I did want to wear a gloss and I chose this one. I've never done this lip combo before, so it could be kind of weird, but I love this gloss. This is from Alamar Cosmetics and it's their lip gloss in the shade Birthday Suit. They have several different shades. This formula is really what I'm thankful for though, because while it is a little bit of a stickier formula, it's not terribly sticky, but it's definitely not your super comfortable lip oil type formula. But because it does have a little bit more of that like stick to it, this gloss lasts for hours on my lips. I don't even really know how it's possible for it to last as long as it does, but it does. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to mention it in this video. All right, we're gonna step back and assess the situation. And after doing my makeup, my brows definitely need more structure, so I'm just gonna touch those up first. I'm also gonna take a little bit more butter bronzer on the forehead, under the cheekbones, and down the neck a little bit lower, just so that it kind of matches the rest of the face. I'm gonna take what's left on the blush brush. I'm not gonna add anything else, but I'm just wanting to kind of intensify that on the apples of the cheeks. Okay, I really like how that looks. For setting spray, I have been loving, and I'm so thankful for, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is like super glue for your makeup, but not in a restricting way. Somehow when you first apply it, it feels like it's gonna be tacky or sticky, but then it dries and your face doesn't feel like crunchy. This is hard for me to explain. It almost feels lightweight after it dries. It's very interesting. You have to kind of try it to see what I mean. I'm just gonna give it a shake and I'm gonna spray my whole face with this. My fan is across the room, so I'm just going to fan it off with my hands. And then once it starts to kind of feel tacky, you'll know what I mean if you ever try this out. I just like to take my sponge one more time and press everything down into the skin. Somehow it also kind of makes my foundations and powders look more skin-like, which I really love about this too. It's such a good setting spray. I really love it. Last but not least, I've never been more grateful for a brow gel in my life. This one, the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter, has worked for me for so many years now. It's just amazing. So I'm just gonna use this to set the brows. Alright, you guys, so that completes today's video using makeup that I am thankful for. I love how this look turned out. I feel like it's definitely appropriate for Thanksgiving with the fall tones. It's also giving me like Harry Potter vibes in a way. So that's always fun, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, again, this is just a fun way to upload a video on Thanksgiving. So I would love to know in the comments one thing that you are thankful for and then a makeup product that you're thankful for. I always love reading through the comments from you guys. So if you would like to, let's just spread the attitude of gratitude today. So I would love it if you would comment that in the comments down below. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it from me today. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Happy Thanksgiving if you are a fellow American, and if you are not from the US, just know that I am thinking about you guys today and I'm thankful for you. So I hope you have a great day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.